Hi, everyone. Hello. Am I on? Now I'm on. Hi, everybody. How are you? Anybody nervous? What? This is not a nervous day. I know it can be. So this is, let me turn off the music. Hold, please. Oh, Rich, you're amazing. Thank you. Our tech guys turning off the music for me because I can't find the mute button. So everybody, my name is Dr. Tracy Cullum. I'm the interim dean of the graduate school here at ISU. And this event is for you as student presenters. We're here to help ease your mind a little bit about today. Many of you might be first-time presenters anywhere or first-time presenters at this event. So this lunch is for you as students just to calm your nerves and give you an idea of what today looks like for you. Okay? Continue eating. If you need more, feel free to jump over in line even while we're speaking. If you are observing Ramadan, there are to-go boxes that you can take with you for today's lunch, as well as the reception this evening. So please make sure that you take that for your observing of Ramadan for today. So to start, we're going to hear from Dr. Marty Blair, who is our Vice President for Research here at ISU. Dr. Blair.
Good afternoon. Good to see you all. So for how many of you is this your very first time presenting ever? A handful of you. All right. Well, good for you. How many of you have done this at least once before? So we've got some veterans. Wonderful. We are so happy to have you here. Can I just say congratulations. You've made it. You've gotten to this point. You've made it here today to be able to share some of the cool things that you've been doing. As I look out across this group, I see a great example of Bengal pride. We're here to explore, to learn, to grow, and to energize each other. You may be aware that on campus today, we have an activity going on yesterday and today called Bengal Giving Day. It's 1,901 minutes where we are giving our community an opportunity to support the work that's going on at Idaho State University, to celebrate all that's good at Idaho State. What we are doing here today, what you are doing here today is sharing with us your pursuit of knowledge, your pursuit of discovery and creativity, of innovation, which is meant to expand our understanding and our appreciation of the world around us. What you are doing today is meant to change our minds and to encourage us to feel differently or to feel something that we may haven't experienced before. Now, some of you, if you've heard me speak before in these research kinds of things, you'll know that I always ask the same question. And you may hear me, as I get a chance to visit with some of you later today, ask this question: so what? Think about how your work is helping us to understand or improve the human condition. In other words, what impact is what you're doing having on the world around us? I want to thank all of you. As I understand it, there are over 200 entries today. That is a record for Idaho State University. In fact, we have so many undergraduate research presenters that we've had to split it into two groups. That is new for Idaho State, and I'm so excited to have you here being a part of that. Today, this afternoon, and into this evening, we're going to observe beautiful art. We're going to observe innovative uses of technology, and we will consider insightful questions about how and why things work the way that they do. And we will consider thoughtful recommendations that you make. Yesterday, I had an opportunity for a couple of hours to host Congressman Mike Simpson. He's one of our representatives in the U.S. House of Representatives. He was on our campus yesterday. And as we went to different parts of our campus, as we looked at the kinds of research that are going on, he asked that question of me several times. So what? Why is this important? What impact are you making in Idaho, in this region, and across the world? I think it's an important question. The research that you're doing is, to me, pretty innovative. Now, there go my glasses. This is a really cool tie. Rebecca, will you please stand up? So this is Rebecca Hazard. This tie is sunflower pollen, right? And this is a cool tie. This is something she did under a microscope, and we were able to put it on a tie. The president of the university has a tie like this, so I'm not wearing it, but I'm wearing this one. This one was by David Cavell, I think is how you say it. This is a mineral that came from a volcano that last erupted over 100,000 years ago out here in the Snake River Plain. I think that the research you're doing is cool. Your work here is the start, or it might even be the continuation of a lifelong education. You are helping us to learn as well, and you're helping us to enjoy your work as well. Yesterday, I also spent some time with innovators and entrepreneurs in East Idaho. There was a group of about 50 or 60 that have come together and are taking their innovative and creative ideas and putting them to use. They have answered the question of, so what? They've answered the question of how to take what they are doing and put it to use to improve the human condition. And I would imagine that in 5 or 10 years, or maybe even sooner than that some of you will be able to do the same thing, to share your work on a more statewide or national or even global scale to help people answer the question of so what. In the written welcome that's in the book that many of you will see later, but I'm sure none of you will read, because I only read it. Well, never mind. Anyway, you may read it, you may not. I said this, that what you share today may be the beginning of an intellectual journey that will keep you exploring for decades to come. I believe that, and I'm excited to see what you're learning. I'm excited to learn more about what you are learning. Much of the knowledge that you're pursuing today wasn't even thought of when I was your age. When I was an undergraduate researcher and a graduate researcher doing things that are similar to what you're doing today, much of what we were thinking about and talking about is now old news. The things you're doing today weren't even contemplated then. In fact, when I was, and you probably hear this from your parents or grandparents, for me, a laptop was a notepad and a pen that I put on my lap. That was the extent of our technology. What I would ask you to do today is to do something simple. I would ask you to just keep learning, to keep growing, to keep creating, to keep innovating, and most importantly, to please keep sharing. Thanks for your effort, and thanks for putting yourself out there. I know it's kind of nerve-wracking to do so. I remember my very first presentation. It took me about 10 minutes to say something that should have taken 30 seconds. I was so nervous. But I didn't need to be, because I found out that the people that I was talking to, they were interested in what I was teaching. They were interested in what I was learning. And you will find that today, that those of us that mill around and engage with you, we're interested in two things. We want to know what you're learning, and we want to know the answer to the question, so what? So thank you very much for your time. Thanks for your effort, and thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. I'd like to present to you now Dr. Adam Bradford, who is the Vice President for Academic Affairs and the Provost at Idaho State University. Dr. Bradford.
Good afternoon, all. It is so nice to be with you today. I'm grateful for the opportunity to just speak. This event makes me just a little bit nostalgic, to be completely honest with you. I came to Idaho State University 5 years ago as the dean of the graduate school, and I've spent the last couple of years working in the provost's office, and was recently named provost here at ISU. And I'm grateful to be here with you because I know how impactful a day like today can be in your own development as scholars and clinicians and researchers. I wanted to just sort of pull the curtain back a little bit. I'm so grateful to Vice President Blair. He and I work very closely on any number of issues in the institution, challenges and opportunities. And I think what he said is so insightful. It was my own journey as a scholar and as a researcher started in an event very similar to this one, As a master's student at the institution where I was getting my master's degree, feels like forever ago, a couple of decades ago or more, I had that opportunity. A faculty member said to me, this work that you're doing, you should really present on it. And for those of you that don't know, and I wouldn't expect you to at all, I'm a literary scholar. I'm a scholar of 19th century American literature and culture, and I do a lot of work on the poetry of the period and the way in which the poetry of the period was informed by all kinds of social practices and norms, and specifically interested in the way in which death and grief and mourning sort of impacted and shaped people's experience of poetry and its production during the time period. So yes, I tend to depress people when I talk about my scholarship, but it's what I do. But one of my faculty members said, you really should think about presenting some of this at the institution's research equivalent of our research symposium. And I remember being so nervous to do that, because it was one thing to sort of write a paper in my bedroom at home and put something together after lots of thought and then send it in to a faculty member who I really valued that individual's opinion and have it come back with all kinds of red on it and then have to work through those comments and think about things. It was another thing to imagine having that experience publicly. But nevertheless, I decided I'm gonna venture forward and do that. And so I submitted and was accepted and went and presented at that particular, we called it a conference, at that particular conference in our institution, and had an overwhelmingly positive experience, because the people that came wanted to just like Vice President Blair said, wanted to just talk to me about what I was learning, about what I was interested in. And all of a sudden I realized, wow, there is a community of folks around me, some of whom were not literary scholars at all, but were sociologists and were actually in the counseling program and elsewhere, whose work actually was intersecting with mine. I was interested in poetry and grief, but I had folks that were in a counseling program who were clinicians who were also interested in grief and interested in the way in which people in the 19th century may have navigated grief and loss a little bit differently and with a different mindset than folks were in the 20th century. And I had sociologists coming to talk to me about the way in which sort of practices surrounding grief were different. I found myself engaged in this really rich conversation. And it was the beginning of what my career as a researcher would sort of become. And it was exactly that. And one of the things I learned very quickly was that any opportunity that I had to talk about the research that I would conduct, and since then I've had opportunity to present at a lot of conferences across the world in different spaces. And every time that I've been able to bring my research forward and talk to people about it, the most engaging and intriguing part has been the connections that I make with individuals who are approaching similar or allied ideas from a different perspective, because that perspective has informed mine and broadened my understanding of the impact of what we do. Research frequently, we live in a society where we sort of celebrate heroes. And we think about the impact or the individual, the one. It's kind of the Superman complex, right? Where you've got one hero individual who's making advancement or is doing something fantastic in the world. Research, your research, operates through community. Through community, we make significant advances and impacts in our world. Each one of us, through our research, contributes a portion of knowledge that gets added to another portion of knowledge somewhere else and another portion of knowledge. And all of that knowledge comes together symbiotically to create meaningful advancement. Not to say that there aren't folks that sort of create a buzz or a stir in certain areas of our research, but the truth is that is not really how human knowledge advances. We advance through groups like this, coming together, having conversation, and putting another sort of brick on that staircase that we're walking up, and contributing to knowledge in that way. Your research matters. It matters because you are contributing those bricks into that staircase that we are walking up as a species. And I want to encourage you to continue to do it. When I was working on my PhD, I had a moment where I felt like, what does any of this matter? How is anything that I'm doing actually going to make a difference in this world? And I can tell you now, with the benefit of 20 years in a career, that what I've seen is that nothing I've ever written, I think, has totally changed the world. Nothing that I've ever done as a researcher has probably saved someone's life in a particular way. Some of you are going to do more of that than I've ever done through my work. But I can tell you that I've been surprised to see that the things that I have contributed, I can see their effects a decade later. I can see how a conversation has been shaped a little differently because of the things that I have done. You will do the same thing. You will do more than I have done. I'm convinced of that. I am positive of that. I meet and talk with enough of you. I know how brilliant you are. So I want to encourage you. If you ever have those moments of doubt, if you ever have those moments where you question sort of the validity or the impact of what you're doing, don't let those impede your success. You are here for a reason. You belong doing what you're doing. Keep pursuing your passions. Keep pursuing your interests. I promise you that if you do so, the impacts will be felt, they will be meaningful, and they will be personally satisfying to you. And I want that for you, and we need that. We need that as a society. We need that as a culture. And Idaho State University needs that, and we benefit from it. Grateful that you're here. I'm very grateful to the amazing faculty that have mentored you to help you get here. We have a brilliant research faculty here at Idaho State University. I'm so grateful for them. I know how impactful they are to you. Please take a moment over the course of the next day or two to thank them for their mentorship. They will appreciate it deeply, and they deserve it too. So thank you all so much. So looking forward to hearing from you. Enjoy the Research Symposium.
Thank you both, Dr. Blair and Dr. Bradford. So everybody has been in your shoes before. You hear that from our esteemed colleagues here. What we're going to talk about right now are your ribbons. Some of you were able to get some ribbons as you came in, but we have a whole table of conference ribbons. So raise your hand right now if you are a first-generation student. There is a first-generation ribbon just for you, all right? Past presenters, who has presented here at the Research Symposium before? I know there's many of you. So we have past presenter ribbons. Undergraduates. Yay, welcome. I know this many are your first times. We have undergraduate ribbons. Graduate students. All right, welcome back to many of familiar faces. And veterans. How many veterans do we have in here? I know we have more than just one. All right, well, thank you. We have a veteran ribbon just for you, ma'am. So make sure you stop at the table now it's to the left. When you leave, there's a ribbon station. There's undergraduate, graduate, and then there are all the other ribbons that you can take on. If you have ever attended a discipline conference, sometimes that is the rite of passage to see who can make their lanyard as long as possible. So we like to do the ribbons so that way you can keep adding to them over the next few years as you participate more and more in this event. Oh, how many of you are doing oral presentations? Great. And poster presentations? Fantastic. Yeah, I kind of knew that number because we've been setting up those TVs for 2 days. And creative works. Who are on my creative? You're all like sitting together. All right. The Creative Works room, many of you are not going to see that. It is down the hall where the refreshments will be at 3 o'clock, and that's when they will be presenting their creative works. And we put refreshments and food in there because we know you're going to have to go in there for food so they can then see all the displays that are wonderfully displayed in the Creative Works room. Okay, first timers. I don't think we did that one. Anybody first time presenting at the symposium? All right, welcome, welcome. All right, one thing to remember, this is your conference. You are the experts, you are the presenters. This conference is for you. And I say that with a lot of love because sometimes as students you feel like, I'll just sit in the corner and wait till it's my turn. You don't have to do that. Engage in this conference and be a part of it to learn from others. You never know who you're going to find who will want to present with you next year, to work on a project with next time. So you will find a lot of allied observations and research and work that you're interested in as well. And we have seen out of this symposium, students come together the following year on similar research, and it's a really great thing to see. So make sure you are engaging and be in the moment. When I say that, I know several of you have walked in here at lunch and you've popped open a laptop and you're like, I have one more tweak to make. Stop. You've already done the work. You're laughing. I see you guys because you did it, didn't you? Letty, did you do it? Yeah. Don't do it. Stop. You have put the work in already. You are ready. The more you tweak, the more you stress, just let it go. You've made it this far. And then the one thing too, so this is from a book, A Minute to Think. We impulsively grab the next to do on our list because we feel like we should always be active. So you're sitting here listening to us, but you're like, oh, I need to check my email. I need to do this. I need to work on this. This is your conference. Let it sit for a few hours. It will be there when you're done. So enjoy the conference. Enjoy the company of fellow students. Encourage fellow students. Thank you. She put away her laptop. I wasn't pointing you out, I promise. Were you tweaking? So here are some tips for the day, okay? Leave your notifications alone. You're going to get text messages. You're going to get Facebook notifications, Instagram notifications. If you're of the age of Be Real, it's time to post your Be Real. Let's just hold off on, well, post your Be Real and tag us. But at the same time, go ahead and leave your notifications alone. They can wait. Don't check your email. Be away from it. It'll be there. I promise you it will be there. Mine will be there too, and some of you probably have emailed me. It's still going to be there, I promise. Ask questions of your peer presenters. How many of you have ever just presented and then everything's silent and you're like, well, I guess that was okay? Ask questions, but don't be interrogative about it. Don't make them feel bad, obviously, but ask good questions so that way there's an engagement of conversation, and that way you can feel engaged and so can the presenters. Ask questions of the faculty that you see. How do you think this works in my realm, in my discipline? Ask them questions that might be related so that way you can embrace whatever it is that you're listening to and watching. And be present. I'm going to say that over and over because you just need to be here. It's your symposium. It's your conference day. So if you have been receiving the plethora of emails about where to be, when to be, and what to do, here's a breakdown. We also have it on several TVs. If you have questions, there are many people that have a lanyard with event staff on them. Ask them. For oral presentations, the graduate students will be from 1 to 3, and these are the rooms. Every single room and in Meridian, they have a moderator. The moderator is who you need to talk to if you have questions or problems in that room related to your presentation. That's your first go-to, and they can help you from there. Okay? Now, I do put on here, be respectful of others, because keep in mind, there are several people presenting in oral presentation rooms back to back. So please don't present and then sneak out. It's just not really respectful of the other people presenting, and you all want to be there at 1 o'clock if you're the oral graduate presenters, so that way you're not trying to come in and out of the room and the doors interrupting during a presentation. So just be respectful of everybody's time and attention related to that presentation. Now, undergraduates, if you are doing oral presentations, same things about being respectful and watching the time, but your time is 3:15 to 4:45. And we have moderators here and in Meridian to also assist you. So look for those folks. They will be in the room checking to make sure every presenter has shown up and that they will tell you the order in which you're presenting. Okay? Posters. We have undergraduate and PharmD posters. And as Dr. Blair said, we had so many undergraduate posters that we had to split that time. So we told you between 1 and 3, and then you got another email that narrowed it down. So you're either in session A or session B. That way we can have kind of half and half. We had over 65 presentations for the posters during that time, so they're a little split. There are posters in there that are not undergraduate. We just already set them up for graduate. They're not doing anything until 3 o'clock. So you will find your station. If you are a poster presenter at any given time, you're generally going to just hang out in front of your TV. Keep an eye out for 2 judges That's who you need to talk to. They're the ones that are going to have a clipboard, and they're going to have a lanyard that says judge. And so when you see them, head right back to your TV if you're talking next door. And that's fine. Go talk to people, engage in those around you, but keep an eye out. If you see a judge, you head back over, or they're going to give you a 0 on the oral part of your presentation for posters, okay? They won't come back around, so make sure you're there. Everybody good on that? All right. So session A, if you're unsure which number, if you're session A or B, come find us at the check-in table. We'll clarify that for you. If you are hanging around and you just want to see session A and you're waiting for session B, that's fine. Vice versa, okay? For Meridian and the graduate poster session, that will start at 3 o'clock. So we will be switching all the TVs during all of these times. So when we say time's up, when we got to switch them, just let us switch them. Speaking of the TVs, there are remotes everywhere. Please don't touch the remotes. There are many, many things on those TVs, and we had to set them up specifically. If you have a problem with the TV, if it closes, it shuts down, please come find us at the check-in desk and we'll fix it, okay? They are finicky. Just let us manage it and we will manage it for you. So judges will review visual, your actual poster, and your oral presentation. So you should have about 2 minutes, like an elevator speech, okay? So telling them just about your work. And you would have 2 judges, okay? If it gets close to the end of your hour or your 2 hours, and you haven't seen 2 judges, we'll be paying attention to that and make sure we get another judge to make sure you get equally scored, okay? Questions about any of those times or presentations? Feel free to shout them out. Okay, we're good. All right. Then, after everybody is done with presentations, your creative works will be at 3 o'clock, then oral presentations and the final posters will be done. At 5, we are taking a little bit of a break because we have Bingo Giving Day happening. And so we want to celebrate with our advancement and alumni office for Bingo Giving Day because that helps award many of our awards for tonight, as well as scholarships some of you may be on. So we want to celebrate that at 5. So at 5:30, we have Dr. Victoria Sharp coming to speak, and she will be giving an interdisciplinary speech about research and how it works in the real world and how you can benefit from it. So please come back and listen to her. After she is done, we will have a reception where you can grab food. We will have drinks. If you're over 21, there are over 21 drinks. And then if you're not, there are under 21 drinks, okay? During that time, we will then commence our awards. You do not have to be present to win, but it would be amazing if you were. If you are in Meridian or online, we will be able to ship those certificates and awards to you. So, after that, all I have is make sure you get your ribbons. Make sure you have the pens, our 2025 pens. If you did not get one, get them at the front desk. Those are your gifts. Everybody should be able to have one. You can collect them. If you are a winner, we have a little extra dangle that goes on them that says winner as well. So you'll have an extra add-on. And then we'll have our awards tonight around 6:15. About 6:15, and then we'll have a reception following that until you all are ready to head out. That's our agenda for the day. So lots of food, lots of beverages, and lots of research and talking. So drink your water. Does anybody have any questions? Is anybody more nervous than when you walked in? Yes. What? Oh my goodness, I did not do a good enough job. Okay. Is anybody less nervous than when you walked in? Thank you, thank you. All right, everybody's the same nervous. Are we there? Okay. All right, you all, it is 12:45. If you are doing oral presentations, let's let them exit first so they can make their way upstairs just so we don't hog the front doors. And then posters, if you'll hang back a little bit, and then we'll see you all at 1 o'clock if you're starting a 1 o'clock session. Have a great day.